Hey everyone, Tim Shelton with the Home Point team. I'd like to talk to you today about why building faith at home now is so important. First, I'll show you a family picture. We made this picture last year, and the photographer just said, hey, Tim and Susan, step about 10 feet back from your boys and let me take a shot. Well, now it's turned out to be my favorite picture. It's just a reminder to us of how fast our boys are growing up and how with each year we're getting further and further from having real influence on them. Well, I will tell you, they're not always this well behaved. That's how they normally look, all right? But anyway, the Apostle Paul tells us that we are to make the best use of our time. Now, sociologists have also realized this, and so what they have set up is some age ranges for kids. Kurt Bruner showed us this when he was in last May. They said that mostly you could break down 3 categories: 0 to 6-year-olds, 7 to 12, and 13 plus. Now, sociologists call it an age range. Mom and Dad, what we would call it is a window of time. And for us to realize that we've got some windows of time to work within in having a real influence for the Lord with our children. So let me show you how this works. What they say is this line means receptivity. Okay, so it denotes how receptive our kids are based off their age categories, their windows of time here. So literally, a 0 to 6-year-old, the idea is just imprint, almost like a baby goose watching mother goose. Everything that the mother does, the baby does it as well. It's an imprint on that little baby's mind. So they're following us, and they're learning that what they're following and seeing us do, how receptive they are to us, is off the charts. Now, the biggest growth in receptivity, though, happens in that 7 and 9-year-old time window, where they're sponges, they're learning, their brains are developing, they want to know everything they can about any subject. That's when they ask us a million questions. So the receptivity window is huge right there to help pour our faith into our children. Now, if you're like me and you've got a 9, 10, 11-year-old, you start to see the eye-rolling phase about right here. Because at this point, receptivity starts to go down as they hit those adolescent, preteen years. Now, they also tell us that once they hit 13, literally, we're into more of a coaching phase as we come alongside our children and help them make decisions. So very interesting just to realize, where are our kids most receptive and where are they least receptive? Now, Kurt Bruner has said that literally few of us ever move beyond accidental to intentional parenting. And I've seen that to be true in our own marriage. If we're not intentional about it, we'll fall back to being accidental. But here's the thing. Why we need to have a real plan for how we build faith in our home is because we're the busiest as parents and most distracted during these key windows of time to pass faith on to our children. And you might say, well, Tim, if you took a look at our house, it's much like ours, and when would you do it? When would you build faith? Well, thankfully, the Lord has given us that out of Deuteronomy chapter 6. And it says, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. These words which I'm commanding you today shall be on your heart. You shall impress them on your children, which just means teach them diligently to your kids, and shall talk of them when should you do it? When you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise up. So essentially, you just talk about the commands of the Lord. Talk about God and His Word, both when you're at home, when you're driving, when you put them down at nighttime, at bedtime, or in the morning when you're around the breakfast table. Great times to talk with your children about the Lord. Now again, we're the most busiest and most distracted during this key window, so you might say, well, how do I do this? Well, again, go back to Deuteronomy 6. It tells us how. It says, talk with your children. That's the big how. It's talk, and it's so simple. I'm glad it's not preach or sing, as I do bad in both those areas, but it just says simply talk about God's commands all these different times. So keep at it, parents. Home Point's here to help you. We want to help you be strategic and consistent. In other words, having a plan and working your plan in your efforts to build faith at home during this busiest season of life. Please visit the Home Point Resource Center in the Children's Lobby here at Bellevue for more information and for more helpful tips and resources. Hey, thanks for watching. Again, my name's Tim Shelton, and just like you, I'm striving to build faith at home.